Okay. Okay. So let's talk about workflow next. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So workflow, we will do it in two parts. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Workflow, of course, it is very important. Now, when you run your success factor, especially Employee Central, workflows and business rule are two such features which will help you to run any transaction. Okay. Now, so that's why workflows are very important to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Why I'm telling you that we will do it in two parts? Why? First, we will talk about the basic structure and
Mm-hmm.
setting so that you understand it. Next part, when we do, of course, I'll explain you a lot of things today only. But the next part, we will check how to practically
Okay.
means workflow when we create, where do we use it? Correct.
Uh-huh.
If I ask you generally what workflow is, do you have any idea? We
Yeah.
use it on daily basis.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
workflow is like supposing if if employee creates a request like an absence request, then it goes to the manager, and then
Correct.
if he approves it or disapproves, then accordingly it goes for approval and not approval. Then it's like a diagram, like how
Correct.
it.
Correct. Perfect. Perfect. We already know it. And to take an example, very simple, when you apply your leave, you change your
Yeah.
name or change any information, it
Mhm.
always has some workflows that run, where it should
Mhm.
go, who will approve it, and then only how it is updated in
Yeah.
your system. Correct.
Mhm.
Now, we know how it works. I mean, practically how it can be used.
Mhm.
But let's see how it works in the system. We don't know how to use it in success factors. So what we'll
Mhm.
do, first let's go to the system. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
since workflow is a non-MDF object, where will we go to check it?
To manage data or
Manage org and job structure.
yeah. Yeah.
Manage data is always for MDF. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Let it load. You go to manage org and job structure, and here you see workflow. Okay. Now,
Mhm.
either you click on create new. Of course, you will find entire form, or you click on this and you say workflow. So you can go and check any particular workflow that is already there in the system.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So let's go and see one by one what workflow fields mean. Now, first of course, you need to give it a code, correct? Then you give it a name. So let's say I say, okay, workflow, right? I give it a
Yeah.
description that why this workflow is being created. Now, next is remind in days. What does that mean? That means that when you when you raised a request and that went to your manager, HR, anybody, and they forgot to, let's say, approve it or take any action, because they can also decline, right, if that is not feasible. So let's say they forgot to take any action on it. So do you want to send a reminder after a few days? So let's say I put 2. That means after 2 days a reminder will be sent. What is delegate support? Uh, am I clear with reminding days?
Yes, yes, yes.
What is delegate? Now, suppose there is an MD. He's traveling. He can't access his system. What they generally do? They delegate their work to their PA or EA or maybe
Yes,
their right their
yes.
peers. So in their absence, you can go and take some action on that request. So if you want
Okay.
to give this access, then you will say, okay, yes, I want to give this access to this.
Yeah.
What is alternate workflow? That is another workflow. Actually, I'm creating a workflow here, but I am attaching another workflow. Why? These things comes mostly when we talk about any future dated changes. I have
Okay.
already shared this workflow document. Did you get it? That is there
Yeah, I
in.
think I seen it. Yeah, but I didn't.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's okay. That's okay. So there is an example. I will also show you or give you an example. Like, let's say
Mhm.
it's December. I said there is a workflow I created that every time you change your name, a request will be raised to your HR to verify. Okay. Now, if a request was made for, let's say, your name or address is changing in February last. So let's say 28th of February, you are changing your address or any personal information. So that means this workflow is triggered. That has already triggered for February 28th. Am I making sense till now?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Now, but let's say before that you had some changes and you had some issues. You had to make some changes before that. Now, once I raised a request for 28th of February, so of course this normal workflow that we created triggered, right? But because I'm doing something else now, something else means I am actually now raising another request before that end date. So that means there what will happen, system will trigger your alternate workflow because the major workflow has already triggered. Now, because we are deviating from the date, if you are making any changes before that date, the alternate workflow will trigger. Okay.
Yeah.
What is escalation? Your manager forgot to take any action for 5 days, 3 days, whatever. You don't want to escalate it. You give this right to system that okay, after few days, just raise an escalation, and you can choose one escalation that you have created. Where you can create it from?
So escalation is basically, does it go to another person or something?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm showing you. So let's go to manage data once.
Mhm.
Here you will see escalation. Now there are a lot of escalations which are created. Let's take an example of time off. I said whenever there is a request for time off, I have created an escalation where I say that the current approval will be this. The escalation is with current approval right now, so it could be your manager. The request is with them, and the target value means where should it get escalated to?
Yeah. Managers.
Correct. After how many days? So 5 days. You can keep it as 2 days, 3 days, whatever you say. Let's say that person also forgot to do this. Then next level is your current approval. Current approval means where it is pending right now, whoever it is. Okay. And who is target value? Your again manager's manager or HR. So wherever you want to escalate it. Make sense? Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
sorry. Yeah. So now I created this escalation and I will go to my workflow and I will attach it. I'll look for time off and I'll pick any one of them. Okay. What is redirect CC user? Redirect means CC users. I will explain you here. Then I will cover this one. Okay. But any question till now? I mean till here escalation.
Yeah, escalation is fine.
Mhm.
That's all yeah, that's fine. That's no question till now.
Okay. Perfect. So let's go and check this one. Now, entire workflow is divided into three steps or three part, I would say. First is called steps, or you can also call it as approvers. Second is called contributor. Third is called CCU. What is step or approvers? These are the people who will only have access to approve your request. Nobody else will be able to approve or decline it. So the decision will be taken only by these people. Now, what are the unique features here? You can add as many approvers as you want.
The approver type is basically
I'll explain
so
you. Don't worry about it. I'll explain you one by one. But what I'm showing you right now, that the unique feature of workflow is that you can add as many approver as you want. See, more I'm selecting, more options I'm getting. Right? See? Started with one and now I'm at four. So you can add as many approvers as you want. First. Second, these mandatory doesn't mean you have to create it. Let's say you said, no, I don't want this to be uh, an approval workflow. I just want to send a notification to somebody, right? So, like maybe you applied for a leave and a notification should only raise, or you change something, a notification should only raise. No approval. Huh? Sorry. Yeah. So you don't want to raise any approval request, but you just want to send it as a CC, I mean notification. Then only you can do it. This is mandatory when you choose it. Means if I am providing an approval, then these attributes are mandatory. You getting me what I'm trying to say? If you want, you can skip two of them. You can only keep any one of them. Let's say I just want to keep CC users. So I can keep CC. I don't have to define one approver. I don't have to define any contributor. All I can do is I can just define a CC user, and the moment anything is approved, done. Just the thing. Yeah.
hello.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So I don't have to provide or create this one. What I'll do, I'll just go and create one part. Either it could be approver or a contributor and anybody. I can create only one thing. Done. So these are the basic features. Let's go and see that how to create it. So I said I want to create an approver. So first of all, I will define who that approver will be. So I click on this and I say, what is the type of my approver? Okay. So I go and I say the type is role. The what role you are playing in the system. So as a HR system, what do you do?
Is it basically like a role has an is he a manager or a senior manager or an
Correct,
HR, something like that?
correct, correct. So what I am saying, the approver type will be role, and what is the role of that approver? He is either my is it I can be myself or my manager. It can be manager's manager, employee HR, all these roles that a system has in a HR tool.
So it
Right?
allows you to put yourself also as an approver.
Yeah, because I also play as an employee
Okay,
a
okay,
role.
okay.
So if I have something that I want my approval for that, so let's say somebody else, I mean HR itself raised something, that should come to me, right, for my approval. So that is why I have put as self. Otherwise, manage, manager, managers, manager, all these roles. So these are basic role that comes along with your HR tool. But you said no, I don't find that approver who is required for this under this standard role that comes along with SAP. I want to create a new one for myself. Like let's say for an example, you want to raise a request for cab and that should go to your admin manager. But of course, admin manager doesn't come in your hierarchy, right? They will never come in your hierarchy. So what happens? You create some dynamic roles for the dynamics means you are customizing that. So you will again go to manage org. Here you will see dynamic role. So let me show you any dynamic role. So let's say I say HR approval maybe. Okay. So I created what? A dynamic role that anybody from a particular department, cost center, anything that I choose raises a request that will directly go to a person. It doesn't matter what that person is for you in hierarchy, but that will go to this person now. Just like that, we will have other options.
So now this like when we
Mhm,
create this workflow, so
mhm.
is it that we are creating only for myself? How will it how will it go for a set of employees? Like are we
Yeah,
doing?
hmm. So when we do create this workflow, so we set up everything. We have set it up like what? That who will be approver, who will be the contributor, who will come into the CC, right? Now what I'll do, I will attach this workflow to any particular transaction. Like I said, every time I apply annual leave, then only this workflow will trigger. So I will have to assign this workflow to that annual leave. Getting me?
Yeah, yeah.
Or you can say any changes that are happening in the system will lead to this workflow. So those
So where
transactions
do you
can be.
add that?
I'll show you. I'll show you. That's why I
Okay,
told you that we'll do it
okay,
into two
okay,
parts, right?
okay,
So
okay.
today,
Sorry, sorry.
no problem, no problem. So today we will just focus on how to create and how to manage it. Tomorrow I'll show you how to trigger it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So see, this is another dynamic role wherein I say that okay, anybody coming from this legal entity, if they
Mhm.
raise a request for this, that will directly go to this person called Nandini. Now it has nothing to do with what Nandini is for me, but if I fall under this legal entity and I raise a request, that will directly go to Nandini. That is called dynamic role. Means I customized this role because of if I choose manager, manager's manager, It will take my information from the system, and if that manager is not there, then I need this one. Am I clear? Is it making sense? Dynamic role.
Yeah. So now basically with this workflow, it doesn't go to your manager, right?
Correct. I say no.
So it goes
I
only to
don't
this person.
this person. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter who that person is for in your hierarchy.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
customized it, and now I'll
Yeah.
choose the particular dynamic rule, whatever I have created. Let's say you said no, I don't want to send it to one person or particular one. That is very sensitive and very important. So I want what? There would be a group of people, let's say five, six people. It should go to everyone. Anybody from that should approve it. The moment they approve it, it should get approved or declined, whatever. So let's say me, you, two more people are in a group, and you said if somebody raises a request, all these four people should get a request, and anybody can go and approve it. So for that, what we do, we create a dynamic group, just like we did for our permissions. Permission, you remember, right?
Permission roles, right?
Yeah, permission groups and permission roles.
Mhm.
So just like that, dynamic group you can choose, and whoever is a part of that dynamic group will be a member of this approval list. Now there is slight change in it. When you create a workflow group, you go to manage workflow group. Although the way to create is quite similar to what we do with our permission groups. See, I click on it and this will page will appear. Okay. Yes. No.
Yeah.
Okay. So and you then go and choose the group that you want. Let's say you don't want any one of them and you directly want to send to somebody, you will choose that position. So when we do our position management, you will get to know what position is, and a person is sitting on this position will be able to approve it. So if I say analyst this, whoever is sitting on this permission will be able to take an approval or take an action on it. And same goes with your position relationship. So when we do position, you will understand it. So just skip it. So now for an example, I take role, the basic one. And from that, I say it should go to my manager. Done. What is source? Source, sorry, context. Context means there are two options, source and target. So source, if you choose source, that means whatever you are requesting right now will go to your manager, your current manager. But you said no, I want to send it to my future manager, any future data that you do. So you will choose target, means system will automatically go and target your manager in it. Okay.
So source means it uh,
Current one.
goes to
current
the current manager,
current manager, whoever is
and
your current.
target means it goes to the future manager.
Let's say
Like
I
that?
have a, yes, I there is a data change of change,
Mhm.
line manager, my manager is
Mhm.
changing from 1st of January, let's say for an example.
Mhm.
You raised a request. So if you choose source for that workflow, so whoever is your manager right now in the system, active manager, data will go to that person. Okay. But you said no, I want to send it to my future manager. Let's say you want to take a leave in January, and your current manager said, see, I am responsible only till 31st December. After that, if whatever you want, you should go to your manager. Correct. Now your manager is not in the system right now, but there is a data change that shows that okay, from 1st of December January you will have new manager, and you applied a leave in January. So if you have chosen target here, so data will automatically be sent to your future dated manager.
Okay.
What is edit transaction? Very simple. How do you want to edit it? Do you want to edit it without change? Means I'll give you access to edit my request with availability to change the route. Means you said a request came to you, but you know that you are not the right person to approve or take any action. So you can route it to somebody who is responsible for it, who can do it. You just want to give access to edit it, but you don't want to give it a route change. That's up to you. Or you just want to give it an option to edit attachment only. Okay, am I making sense?
Yeah.
Now, no approver behavior. Let's say I created five approvers. Five approvers are there in this. Two of them, the initial managers approved it. Okay. Now it is pending for the third one, and third one is somehow inactive, left the organization or anything. Now, of course, unless third one approves it, it will not go to the fourth one. Correct? Yes, no?
Yes, yes. I just kept it on mute because there's too much of noise
Ah,
in
okay.
my.
Sorry, sorry. I feel sometime it's disconnected. Okay. So I said third one is inactive. So inactive, of course, unless that person approves or take any action, it will not go to the fourth one. So what do you want? If you don't find that approval, do you want to skip this step? Means you went to third one and third person is not active. So automatically system will throw this request to the fourth approver. Or do you want to stop the workflow then and there? So that's up to you. So generally we
So
keep as skip. Mhm.
this no approval behavior is like it's in middle of the workflow, right?
Correct.
Like so first you're taking the role, then
Mhm. I
you
can take anything
selected.
else.
Okay,
Yeah,
you can
let's
take
say I
it.
said dynamic role, then I created another one. I said another role. Correct.
Uh,
And I said another role. And I
mhm.
created, let's say, five approvers for it. Unless this
Okay.
fifth approver approves or take any action, your
Mm.
workflow will not be completed.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So now let's
Yeah.
say the two of the top one they approved it, but this
Okay.
third one is inactive. Now system doesn't know what to do. So if I say no, you just skip the step. Means if that third approver is not there, automatically system will throw this to the fourth approver. Okay. It will not stop. But you say no, I don't want it to go further, so you can choose what? Stop the workflow.
Okay. And if you stop the workflow, then what happens?
It will stop there. It will not work. Then again you have to raise it and change the workflow.
So then, supposing if it's a like a leave request,
Mhm.
so then if it stops the workflow, so it's basically the leave request has not gone to anybody.
Yes,
Like, I
yes,
mean, it won't go again and again. So just stop there.
correct. Yeah, so this is what happens, and rest everything you have defined over above, like escalation and remind days, all this will come into the picture and it will work there. But yes, that will get stopped, and of course you have to change this. Either you have to make somebody sit there on that particular step, or else it will not work. Okay. Hello. Oh, sorry.
Yes,
Unmute.
I'm listening.
Now this is the what is relationship to approver. What relationship is this? If you are an employee, normal, anybody can be an employee, or you are an initiator. So if you are an employee for that manager, means you are directly reporting to this person, then of course you are an employee. If I said no, it should be manager. You can also take as initiator if you are not directly related to the manager. See, it's changed. Now, what is a respect permission? So when we created our permission role, you saw I gave lot of permissions there, that what field you can see, what field you can't. Now let's say there is a discrepancy and how somebody raised a request, but from permission role you are not allowed to see that information. But here you are the approver. Now there is a confusion and there is a you know issue that system should follow what? System should follow your permission role or this workflow role. So if you say respect the permission as yes, system will follow your permission role and you will not be able to see the information. But if you say no, it should be no. System will not follow this respect permission. Means you will be able to view that information. Last but not least, this workflow email configuration, that is creating customized notification for you, for everyone. So we will see this. I will share one document for it. It is very important, but also very easy. So I will share it with you, wherein you can create your own notification. Any questions from any of the fields?
No, I'm good now.
Cool. So if you see in all these approvers, I mean, all of them, either it's contributor or CC role, whatever, all the options are same. See,
So what
management.
is a contributor and a
Yeah,
CC role?
coming to that. So contributors are, they don't approve it. They will not have access to approve your request. What they can do, let's say you raised a request and there is an issue, like you by mistake chose a wrong date, any attachment you incorrectly updated, any wrong information you updated, they can go and modify your request. They will not be able to approve it, but they will be able to modify it. Getting me? So contributors can go and make some changes in your request, but they cannot approve or decline it. But who are CC role? CC role is just like your Outlook, wherein what we do, we keep people in CC just for FYI. Here also, if you keep CC role somebody just like that,
So the request is basically going to one person, but it's also going to somebody else. That CC role means?
yeah. So CC role, not the request, but once everybody took their action, means your workflow is complete. The last
Yeah.
approver took his or her action. Then a
Okay.
notification will be sent to this CC user,
Okay.
whoever you define as CC. So if I defined CC as me, like
Mm-hmm.
self, means whoever raised this request, let's say I raised a request for annual leave and my manager approved it. So the moment that manager takes an action, a notification will be triggered to me that okay, your leave has been approved or your leave has been declined, something like that. Okay,
Okay.
this is the role of contributor and CC. Any questions from any one of them? Because all these fields are now same, just like above. See,
Okay.
manager, relationship to approver, context and stuff. Any confusion so far?
No, I'm good.
Cool. Now, so this is how, of course, I'll go and save it and I'll be able to see my workflow. So first, two things. First, you just go and see the document that I have shared with you, the
Okay.
workflow, so that you recall what I told you step by step.
Okay. Mhm.
Second, just create a random workflow for you with your name or anything
Okay.
so that you
Okay.
can.
Okay.
Third, I have created a workflow, but I haven't shown you yet that how to trigger it, right?
Yeah.
We haven't seen where to trigger it from.
Yeah.